Are you wasting money on home care leads that don't convert? If this sounds familiar, if you're using lead vendors like A Place for Mom, Agent Care, Care.com, and all the other ones out there, in today's video, I want to go ahead and show you how purchase leads are costing you more than just money. They're eating up your precious time with window shoppers and preventing you from building any real enterprise value for your agency. Okay, so let's talk about and let's get into the hard truth about lead sites. So if you notice here on the diagram on the right, you have your typical client profile, right? The seniors and the disabled. And you have these middlemen, right? These lead vendors that are essentially connecting you guys, connecting you, the agency, to the people that need care. Now, here are some quick stats on this, okay? About inquiry to admission ratio. So about the conversion ratio from a lead to a client is around 17.8%, right? Another thing is the average cost per client from these lead vendors is around $693, okay? As well as the percentage of paid leads that actually don't convert, right? Which is around 82%, just simply the inverse of this number. And of course, this is all coming from the 2024 activated insights that you can find on page 24, where they pretty much do a collection of survey for a bunch of home care agencies around, from, big top agencies to small scale agencies. And this just goes to show, okay, that about 80% of your effort is being wasted when it comes to these leads, right? And reason being is because a lot of them, they're middlemen, right? And as you know, they sell those leads off to different agencies, and they're the ones that end up profiting the most out of them, okay? Now, there are some even more hidden costs when it comes to using lead vendors, okay? So if you notice here also from the 2024 activated insights, the median home care agency, okay, they're getting about 238 inquiries every year, okay? And so what that means is a lot of home care agencies, especially some of the ones that I speak to, a lot of their referral sources, or most of their referral sources, actually come from these lead sites like A Place for Mom, Agent Care, etc. And that can easily add up to around 200 inquiries a year just from these places, if say they're buying 15 to 20 leads a month from these places, right? And if you take into account some of those people, right, 80% of that number, and if you're spending about an hour or so on every lead that could potentially convert, you're wasting about 200 hours of either your time or your team's time. And if you pay your person an average around $20 an hour, let's say your average staff or your average admin, okay, that's anywhere around $5,000 to $10,000 being wasted annually, right, on these follow-ups and things that actually don't end up converting, that 80%. And so you just want to make sure that you're not just wasting money here, but also you potentially could be wasting time. Now, let's talk about some of the dependencies of this cost, okay? And I also want to bring up some more stats, okay? So lead vendors, the main issue here and the main cost that will be costing you is going to be no brand building, okay? You're not building a brand by using these lead vendors. You're simply getting connected by the middleman, okay? You're paying to use their service. Their service is being more known by more people if they ever need more home care. And you're not building your own. When they end up eventually connecting you with that person, the person might not remember you just because they're being contacted by other different agencies. And so you're not building a solid foundation when it comes to that. Another thing, actually, if you compare that to your own marketing, if you begin to do your own marketing, you connect with these people directly, you're building a lasting asset, which makes them more likely to go ahead and refer you over to their friends, families, if they ever go ahead and do sign up and convert. Now, compare that, let's say, for example, to lead vendors. Every time you go ahead and buy a couple new leads, it always resets to zero every month, right? So, in a month, hey, how many leads did I get from these lead vendors? Let's say 15. The next month comes around, it resets to zero. Now, the difference here with your own marketing is that it compounds over time. And that's something we're going to get into later. But if you begin to network and build your presence either in person or online, that gets to compound by the networking and the relationships that you begin to build, right? You do that once, right? Let's say you establish a referral partnership once, you're going to keep getting referrals and referrals and referrals down the line as you continue to nurture that. Okay. Compare that to lead vendors. There's not necessarily, that doesn't exist, right? You just have to keep paying to use the service. Again, another thing, you're competing with 5 to 10 other different agencies. Here, when it comes to your own marketing, you're only getting exclusive leads. Okay, these leads are coming to you as soon as you go ahead and pick up that phone. Whenever they do give you a call, that lead is almost going to be exclusive to you. Okay, and then lastly, again, that 17% conversion rates versus your own marketing, which will almost double. Now, if we pay attention real quick here to this diagram here, okay, I want you to go ahead and see here that, for example, when it comes to the healthcare professionals, okay, so like hospital discharge planners, hospices, home health agencies, and assisted livings, you can notice the inquiry to admission ratio is anywhere between, it's in the mid to low 30s, as well as the hospital discharge planners. So you're looking at anywhere almost double the conversion rate for in-person marketing, and then as well as any type of internet marketing or digital marketing. So we're talking like Google ads, as well as search engine optimization, right? Ranking above your competitors when people look you up. You're looking at almost 30% for each one. Okay, almost 30%. So you're looking at almost double the conversion, just because, again, these leads are exclusive to you when they do get referred over either from online or from in person. Okay, now there is a place and a role for using lead vendors. I wouldn't say they're completely out of the picture. I mean, for a lot of different agencies, they are a big part of their marketing source, and that's completely normal. Okay, so lead vendors, they aren't useless, they're just misused. They work best as a supplement, not a foundation. Okay, just the same way you wouldn't use a protein bar as your full meal. Okay, you don't want to do the same thing here with lead vendors. Okay, you can best benefit from them if, let's say, you open a new agency in a new market. So let's say you're somewhere in Connecticut and you open another agency in Florida. That would be a great way to go ahead and start getting the ball rolling as you go ahead and build out certain assets, certain marketing departments in that new market. Also filling in any seasonal gaps, right? Sometimes there are some dips when it comes to the seasons. For example, like between summer and spring, okay, that's a very low time for demand when it comes to home care. A lot less people are looking for home care during those times. As well as, again, as I mentioned earlier, supplementing that growth during periods while building your online presence or your digital presence, right? Making yourself more, marketing your agency online, right? Especially if you're looking for private pay. You definitely want to be online, as well as professional networks, as well as brand recognition, while you're going ahead and building these assets, these marketing assets out. Now, the power of compound marketing. Let's get into how powerful compounding is, especially when it comes to marketing. Okay, as Warren Buffett wisely said, right? Just go ahead and quote Warren Buffett. Someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. And so this applies directly when it comes to your marketing strategy, right? And I mentioned a bit earlier, okay, when it comes to compounding your own marketing efforts, so whether that's SEO, that's ads, that's partnerships, these are things that, you kind of do an upfront cost on, and they begin to reap the rewards even more and more as time goes on, right? With this, you create consistent referrals, driving growth month over month, right? So if you think about when it comes to networking with somebody, it might be really hard in the beginning to go ahead and get the ball rolling. But once the ball gets rolling, things get easier, and it gets easier and easier to go ahead and nurture that relationship. There's less work to do as time goes on compared to when you first did it. The same thing applies to ads, and the same thing applies to SEO. You have control over all these things that surround your brand and your agency's reputation. Compare that to using lead vendors, okay? This is just kind of a one-time thing, right? You purchase it, you get what you paid for, right? You buy it, and that's it, right? Nobody's left knowing your name. There's no ball that gets rolling. The things don't get easier. It's just a cycle that you're just going to have to go ahead and run through. And again, you can go ahead and utilize those things during certain phases of your agency's growth in order to go ahead and even boost it even further, right? But not use it as, your only solution for marketing, okay? So make sure you go ahead and invest in a long-term marketing solution for sustainable growth, okay? Focus on those methods that build lasting value. They build enterprise value, especially if you plan to exit at some point, okay? So let's talk about that. Building a marketing ecosystem. The real magic happens when you build a holistic marketing ecosystem where your digital presence supports your in-person marketing efforts and your network strengthens your online reputation. Okay, this is super, super important. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you do plan to go ahead and exit, You want to build something that it's going to continuously provide value month after month and continuously help grow the agency as you go ahead and begin to grow. Okay. So when it comes to, for example, online marketing or digital marketing, you want to go ahead and work on your SEO infrastructure. This is something super important. There are hundreds of, no, there's actually millions of people looking for home care online all the time. The exact number as of October is around 5 million in the US every month. So, of course, you want to make sure you're ranking above your competitors. You're actually being visible. So when people are looking for home care and they're looking to inquire, learn more about your services, they go ahead and they click on you first. Also doing some Google ads, right? This is a quick way to go ahead and get leads. A lot of people, click on the ads, right? So that's exactly where you want to be at as well. Doing those online reviews, making yourself more reputable, appearing number one because you have a lot of reviews, a lot of great reviews at that. You want to also be there as well as optimizing your website to make sure once you start driving people to the website, driving traffic, you want to make sure they are converting. Okay, you want to make sure that your website is an asset to the business that is constantly getting people to inquire, which then again generates revenue month after month after month. Okay. Finally, in-person marketing. Of course, you want to go ahead and start building your professional networks with other healthcare professions, right? Hospitals, hospice, assisted living facilities, as well as doing partnerships with your local community and local organizations, professional organizations, as well as satisfied client referrals, making sure you're staying engaged with your clients, right, with your patients, and constantly asking them for referrals and their family as well. Okay. Now, the next steps you should definitely take after watching this video. Okay, you want to audit your current marketing process. Make sure you're evaluating the money and time that's being spent on getting new referrals. Are they mainly coming from lead vendors? Are they mainly coming from in-person marketing efforts? Where should we shift exactly what we're doing? Okay, and if you haven't yet already, continue to develop your referral network, right? Continue building those things that are going to be everlasting values to the home care agency, connecting with other healthcare professionals as well as community partners. And then, of course, if you haven't already, and I know a lot of home care agencies haven't, because they typically think that online is not where seniors are at. Remember, you're not trying to contact seniors online because, to a certain extent, that notion is, it does have some truth to it. Okay, a lot of seniors aren't necessarily online, but the family of them are. Okay, especially that younger generation, they are online. So you want to make sure you're there. You're there when their mother's having an issue, their grandparents are having an issue, their aunt is having an issue. The first place they're gonna go to is online. Right? They're gonna look for it on Google. So make sure you're actually there in front of them. Your website is there when they are looking for it. Okay, so that's gonna be building out your SEO and your Google ads. Okay, and then lastly, once you start implementing these strategies, you're gonna be able to quickly gather the data to go ahead and see what's working, what's not. Make sure you expand on the things that are working, and make sure you go ahead and you begin to reduce your dependency, if you have any, reduce any dependency you have on any lead vendors. Okay, and so to go ahead, take the next step, right? If you're ready to stop overpaying for shared leads and start building some real marketing assets for your agency, that's exactly what we do here in my company at Adfelt. Make sure you go ahead and click on the link down below to go ahead and schedule a free demo call. We'll go ahead and analyze your current marketing and show you how we implement our own strategies and systems in order to go ahead and take your agency to the next level. If you went ahead and enjoyed this, please go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, check out the channel for other videos similar to this one, and I'll go ahead and see you on the next one. Thanks.